The state of Minnesota has been at the forefront of legislation to remove PFAS, or forever chemicals, in consumer products by 2032. On the list, of course, are nonstick cookware. If the surface gets scratched or flakes off, those chemicals can end up in our bodies or the water supply. And there are a lot of other great alternatives to help you learn how to cook without using nonstick. And Carl Benson from Cook's Bellicor is here. You wrote a great article in Edina magazine. That's where we came up with this segment idea. But I know that at your stores, people are coming in and asking for a lot of other alternatives as well.
So it's why don't we start with, what do you use at home? I know this one.
I use nonstick most of the time, and I try not to use, I use wood so I don't scratch anything. I'm trying to be real careful with it, but this is easier and quicker. But I do have these at home too, the stainless steel. So if you're going to try to avoid this and use stainless steel, what's the big thing about stainless steel?
The big thing about stainless is to heat it. So you don't put raw food or food you're going to cook in the pan before the pan itself is warm. And there's a test. So you put it on the burner.
Yep.
You bring it to temperature, not high.
Medium.
Medium at best. And then if you're going to test it, you would take your little bit of water and put it in there, and the water should beat up.
Okay.
So it makes like a marble. And when you have a marble in there, you're like, okay, now it's temperature.
And then you put the fat in there, and then you put the protein or whatever you're making.
Stir it around so that you coat the bottom of the pan, and then you put protein in there.
And then you have to be patient. You don't want to lift it off. It'll lift off on itself. It makes its own crust.
Yes.
And that's if it's medium. If it's too hot, it'll just...
If it's too hot, what happens is you scorch it before the meat or the protein gets cooked. So the alternatives to this then are, we'll start with cast iron.
Which you have to season. And then this is another one that you have to season.
I love this. This is carbon steel. So they perform similarly.
Okay.
The carbon steel is heavy. It's heavier than the stainless and heavier than all the other alternatives. Not as heavy as cast iron. It also heats, it gets to temperature quicker, and then it gives off the temperature faster. Cast iron, this is what your grandma had. I'm sure someone in your family still has your grandma's cast iron pans. So I think it's actually not a bad thing. These become a maintenance kind of pan. So you cook with them, you rinse them out with hot water. If you get something that really sticks in there, because the phone rings when you're making your potatoes, like this cast iron pan here. So you bring it to temperature, add boiling water to it, stir it around and keep draining it. But what happens is the hot water takes the oil base off of it.
So you do have to keep seasoning it.
So you just season it and keep using it.
And you season it by putting it upside down in the oven.
With a high flash point oil, like peanut oil or canola oil or avocado oil. We talked about that earlier.
Increasing the temperature.
And what you do is you keep building up that surface. And the more oil that you get in there and the more the oil cooks, the more nonstick the surface becomes.
But this is a great thing for savory and eggs and such. What is this?
This is the newest technology in nonstick, and it's a ceramic coating. And the company that we did a lot of research into this because we got advance warning about PFAS coming. So GreenPan is the state-of-the-art technology. This is like 9th generation, and it's a ceramic coating, but they grind up industrial diamonds into a powder, and they add that to the coating, and then they coat the pan, and then the diamond, they say.
Okay, but you still don't want to use like anything that's going to, it's not going to scrape it off.
So you would use like a plastic spatula.
Okay.
And the GreenPan people will say that you can use metallic tools in it, but what happens if you're not paying attention is you dig in with your metal spatula, and you might scratch the surface of it, or you might get through the surface because it's kind of like it's a coating. So.
All right, that's so much information.
Too much.
Thank you. Yeah, it's okay. You did a good job. We didn't make the eggs though. Come on. Carl's recipe and more information. He has a recipe for us as well. For all the information is on carol11.com, and we will be right back. The QR code will also give you a link.